Welcome to Clips, where we snip out little facts and factoids from our much more in-depth series. Today, I'd like to share with you one of the major problems with the German Gewehr 88 commission rifle. Now, this gun was developed in a mad frenzy, as the French had changed the rifle game with the introduction of their small-bore smokeless powder cartridge and magazine-repeating rifle. Germany had to suddenly play catch-up, not just in terms of technology, but also in getting their new smokeless rifle into the very many hands of their massive army. That meant a hasty trials process and a mad dash of manufacture, and this would be the result, a rifle that was fairly good on paper, but had some major deficiencies baked into the design, most glaring of which was a propensity towards out-of-battery discharges. That means the round being set off when the bolt is not properly locked shut. Now, there are two ways this gun could accomplish that. Alright, we can see our first issue pretty clearly with these snap caps. I'm going to go ahead and chamber one round, but in doing so, I'm not going to turn the bolt handle down. I'm just going to come all the way forward. And I'm going to retract the bolt. At this point, you notice I'm not extracting anything. That's because the way this gun is set up, you must bolt all the way down in order for the extractor to snap over the round. Now, once I go back, I can then pick up the next round, which is when we get a potential oopsie. We end up round to round. It's a little dark in there, but you get the idea. Now, the problem with this isn't just that the gun's jammed up. It's also that if you do this quickly enough and with enough force, you may end up with a tip of the bullet to the previous primer, which means if you snap on this real good, there's a chance of an out-of-battery detonation of the initial cartridge, which is going to be very unpleasant at the rear of the gun here. This double feed issue was not unique to the Gewehr 88. As a matter of fact, most early vertical magazine guns don't really have a controlled feed. I just suspect that the Gewehr 88 managed just the right feed angle to make it a bigger concern. This issue wasn't really discovered in testing, as it's likely the shooters were being more cautious of handling the rifles. Once issued, however, it did occasionally crop up, as did another definitely unexpected problem. Troops were reassembling their rifles incorrectly with disastrous results. Our next big problem is right here, the bolt head, which is separate and very easy to remove. We just decock the bolt when it's out of the gun and pull her on out. This is useful for cleaning and also for a number of other things, which is why it was done, but it presents one unique problem. So we strip this whole bolt, we clean it up, maybe we forget the bolt head, and we got to throw it back in the action, and when we do, you'll notice this is a square cut, this is a square cut, so the actual action of inserting this doesn't change. The bolt release is biased such that it will allow anything to enter from the rear, square cut or not. So, boom, click, we're in. That is a little more than terrifying because this bolt is ready to rock and roll. We can even turn her all the way into battery. And yeah, technically we're locking shut, but we do not have case head support, which means I can actually load this gun with, of course, dummy ammunition. There we go. And then I can bolt on forward. I can chamber that round. I can bolt closed, and thankfully, snap cap, I can fire it. Oh, that's going to be a lot of very painful gas coming out the side of this gun. And again, this doesn't have any gas shielding or other prevention devices. At which point, we have no extractor, by the way. And yeah, it's a huge mess. Now, there would be some suggestions on how to fix this issue, and one was pretty simple. Square cut the bolt stop so that if a 90-degree angle hits it, it can't insert, and then put a diagonal grind on the front of the left bolt side of the bolt face. That would mean easy reassembly, just put it on in if you had the bolt face on there, but if it wasn't, you would dunk, 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 and well, technically you could hold down the button and still get past that, but the idea was to just train around that. There is a rifle that did see this sort of modification, but it was not the Gewehr 88. In the end, the Germans opted for none of this. They ultimately settled on doing extra training to prevent the problems. Again, if you'd like to know more about this rifle, check out our full-length primer episode on it. And otherwise, have a good one.